Hey guys, this is Sean with Integrity Ranch. We're just out here getting these cows moved onto a new strip of grass. My main helper there taking the reel, and I'll grab the pegs. Having a little helper makes this really nice. Clint can reel up that reel, and I'll grab all these pegs as we walk to this side of the fence. And we just walk up, we just leapfrog this paddock and go and set up the next one, and then walk it all the way back down to our water lane that then lets them go down to the creek for water. And the camera's kind of wigging out with that sun, but you can see this line here in the broom sedge, and then you can kind of see what they've cleaned up. So are your cows fat enough? That's what I want to talk about. They've got to be fat enough. They don't have to be fat, pig fat. They don't have to be roly-poly this time of the year. But they do have to be fat enough to do their job so that they can make you some money. If they're too thin, they're not going to do their job. They're not going to make you money, and they're not fat enough, bottom line. So you can see these pegs here. We're not pushing them to where you can notice a difference really in the broom sedge. You're going to starve your cows to death making them eat this broom sedge unless you're supplementing them with proteins of some sort, which we're not. We just got salt out right now. We're not even giving them mineral. I kind of got sick of spending as much money on mineral as I was with the cow herd. The sheep and goats, they don't eat very much mineral, but the cows it's not that much, but I just decided, you know what, I'm going to start rationing my mineral out a little bit. So anyway, you can see here, the cow pats are not, they're stacking up, right? Don't get me wrong, but they're not piling up crazy. So you need to watch that when you're grazing a lot of dead forage. Make sure that those manure piles aren't getting, 4 inches tall. So in a perfect world, you want them like 1.5 inches with a little pond in the middle, but we don't live in a perfect world. So you can push that. You can get them, 2.5, 3 inches tall sometimes. And then, maybe you take them to a little bit more fescue and get that back down for a week or two. And so it's kind of just, it's like gambling, or I don't know, playing cards. I don't know. You can't always be winning is what I'm saying, I guess. But you do have to keep them fat enough. This cow, she's nursing a calf. She's actually a fall calver. So the fall calvers are going to be the ones that are kind of struggling, I guess you could say. They're not as fat. But anyway, she's nursing a calf, and she's not thin. So, you can see there, she's not really thin. So I think she's fat enough. She really should be able to do her job there. If she can't do her job with what I'm giving her, I can honestly say it's her fault. Okay? What I'm doing here, I feel like I'm doing my job. If the cows fail, it's their fault. If you're screwing up left and right and the cows fail, you may have some great cows. It may be your fault. So these two are both going to be spring calvers. And we don't have that many fall calvers. And I'm a spring calving guy, but I did want to give the fall calving just a complete, honest run and see if there was something to it. A lot of people told me it's the real deal. People I respect, so I decided I was going to give it a try. I honestly don't think we have enough fescue on our farms to really make the spring calving work as good as some people. But so this cow, she's fat enough. I don't see any reason she won't do her job. And like I said, if she doesn't, I can get rid of her and sleep well at night, because I know I did mine. We're giving them decent strips. There's very little green in these strips, but we're not pushing them to eat too much of this brown, really tough grass. All this brown right here, if they go and grab a bite of that, there's about 1/3 of that grass that's still green. And so that's what we're making them eat. If they're eating up here, 120% of that is just brown, stemmy, dry feed. So anyway, Are your cows fat enough? You got to keep them fat enough, or you're not going to pay the bills. If you're not paying the bills, what are you doing it for? I'd rather do nothing for something. I'd rather do nothing for nothing than something for nothing. So I really don't want to be out here just to break even. So you gotta watch the condition on these cows. You gotta give them what they need, but you don't have to spoil them. You know, in a lot of cases, you just need better cows. You know, it'd always be great to have better ground, but ground is by far the most expensive thing you're gonna deal with in this game. So it's gonna be either buying it is just crazy expensive, and finding good pieces of ground to lease is just tough. You know, depending on the area. Around here, if you can get your hands on a broom sedge hayfield like this, and you're just tickled pink. So, where did that? There was a cow in here I wanted to show you guys that wasn't fat enough. Well, so this will be her right here. See, she's kind of starting to have an arched back. She just looks unhealthy. And if you notice, she's a little taller than just about all these cows in here. She's got too much leg. She doesn't have enough depth of body. And she is not as easy fleshing as they need to be. And that's, she struggles almost every year. And she's done her job, and so she's still here. But you got to weed out the cows that aren't very easy fleshing, because sometimes you're not always going to do your job as good as you should, and those cows are going to fail you. And so I like to kind of weed them out on a good year when you can, versus wait until they actually fail to weed them out. But you've got to know enough, I guess, to do that, because you don't want to be selling good cows. But cows with big old tall legs and they don't got as much of a barrel gut to them, they're going to end up failing you at some point. Just depends on, you know, when you end up in a pinch and need to push them on some ground or push them on some hay. But cows like this, lower to the ground, they've got a pretty good barrel gut to them. You know, they can take in a lot of this dried up grass and just keep on chugging. So this cow right here, she's doing pretty good, and I'm gonna show you, this is her calf right here. So he's still nursing. Looks like he's a little wet on the lips this morning. We're gonna we'll be pulling bull calves in about a month, because they're starting to think that they're pretty hot stuff out here. So keep your cows fat enough, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.